Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Module 6, Chapter 10. Again, I probably noted this, or I know I noted it. Hopefully, all of you saw it. I made a few corrections to the course, so the new modules that we're going over will have a new look, and they'll be a little easier to navigate, and I've aligned things a little bit better for you guys. But from the perspective of new material or anything like that, it's not going to be anything new. It's just going to be easier to navigate. All right, so Module 6, Chapter 10. So you're going to see at the top, the first thing that you need to do, of course, is read Chapter 10, Professional Ethics in the Living, in your Cengage textbook. And I have two lectures here. One's more supplemental than the other. Of course, the first one is the Cengage lecture for Chapter 10. Take a look at that, along with the PowerPoint there. So the PowerPoint attached to your Cengage lecture. And I redocumented and reworded these things so they were a little easier to understand which PowerPoint went to which lecture. So that's why the PowerPoint is located right under the lecture now. And I think that'll be helpful for you guys. Same thing with the supplemental lecture. You do have a PowerPoint for the supplemental lecture if you want to watch through. And it's going to have a lot of the same things that you're hearing in the Cengage lecture, but new developments, new things that I've added in as supplemental. So be sure, if you're interested, to take a look at that. It will definitely help you understand the material better. All right. You have a Module 6 smaller handout, which is associated with the supplemental lecture, and I think that's interesting. But of course, we're talking about professional ethics in the living. It's not a dry chapter as it sounds. There's a lot of great information in there, and I think you'll really enjoy it. One thing that I want you to understand is there's a minor consent in Washington State is a little bit different than other state providing health care to minors. And I thought this was an interesting thing from an ethical standpoint. We ran into this when I ran medical practices, but some emergency procedures you don't need minor parent or guardian consent, and then of course like immunizations, maybe you don't need a parent or guardian consent. And there's the mature minor doctrine that you can also look up, which is really interesting. Birth control, abortion, all that kind of stuff. Of course, you don't need parent consent in the state of Washington for that. So each state's going to be a little bit different. I wanted to add that in so you could take a look at that and better understand, some of the laws in our state when you reference professional ethics and the living. All right. One thing that we do have to do this week is our all-important Chapter 10 review questions. I'll open these here in a minute. And then we're now starting a discussion board post, a chapter or a Module 6 lecture question, as I call it, because we're on Module 6. It's our lecture question. You just got to answer this question in a thread here. Very easy. It only needs to be around 150 words in total. If you want to put in more, that's totally fine. But the question is, when thinking about the physician-patient relationship, how can we legally protect ourselves as caregivers when working with vulnerable individuals? So how do we protect ourselves? One thing that I would write in my post is, we just need to have knowledge and understanding and take time in order to make sure that we, gather information, understand laws and regulations before moving forward. So that's why this course is so important in your healthcare journey. So be sure to answer that lecture question. Only one post needed. It's like a discussion board post, so get that done and then knock out your Chapter 10 review questions. Both of these, the post and the review questions, are due on the 23rd by end of day. All right. That was a lot of information. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, I'll make the Chapter 10 review questions open and ready to go, and we should be all set. Let me know if you need anything. Thanks so much.